next is Luca Meini, talking about smart cities and renewable energy. He's head of circular economy at Enel Italia. So he should be online, right?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I have a few slides. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
I will go through what Enel is doing, our focus on cities, and particularly on the topic of circular city. That is a vision, a concept we have been focusing on in the last 4 or 5 years. First, just a few words about the overall context. Cities are facing, historically, have always faced many challenges. In the last decades, some new challenge has appeared. One side related to the role that city can play at a global level. So, for example, they are taking the lead in this fight. Another new aspect is the rapid impact of global cities. Climate change is one, we saw pandemic. And then there is a strong focus on quality of life, what cities offer actually. And the COVID disease, let me say, has somehow accelerated, increased this until 1 year ago, there was also discussion about will city have a future, will everybody live cities? Nowadays, the situation has somehow recovered, but still the discussion on what is the role of city, what do city offer to citizens, etc., is ongoing, and this has somehow also accelerated the focus that cities have in order to understand how to evolve, how to keep being a reference point for people. There are various visions of city that are mentioned, that are discussed. Here I just mentioned a few. One is the zero emission city, focusing on that is the emission side, trying to avoid all the emission. Another vision that often is mentioned is resilient city. That means focusing on facing shocks, so everything about planning, natural-based solution, etc. A third one that has become quite known in the last years, mainly thanks to Paris, is the 15-minute city. That is the opportunity for citizens to have within a 15-minute walk all the services they need. Then there is the vision of circular city that has emerged in the last 2-3 years, mainly in a more strong way. That is more wide, approaching all the sector and focusing on a redesign of the city. So you see that there are different visions that are mentioned according to the focus, the discussion. The main difference, I would say, that some vision focus on specific aspects. With circular city, we try to have a more overall approach to city design. Just to mention, there is, of course, the most used definition is smart city, but by itself is not really a city vision. It's above all the concept of the role that a digital solution can have in the city transition. But it has been a definition that took much success in the years and is often used in any situation. Circular city somehow started in Europe, is included in the Circular Economy Action Plan. Many cities in Europe have created their circular economy plan: Paris, Amsterdam, London, also Milan. There is also an initiative, Circular City Declaration. Going outside Europe, for example, in Latin America, a region where we are quite active, many cities are doing the same. There is a regional initiative as well, Declaración de Ciudades Circulares. So there is a huge commitment in many other continents. Just to mention an analysis that we made together with Europe last year, we presented at the we tried to measure, to quantify the contribution that the circular approach can have in a city overall footprint. Just introduce a little more technical concept about emissions, because the overall city emissions are related on the emissions in the city, like scope 1. Then there is emission that happen outside the city, provide energy to the city, that's scope 2. And then all the other emissions related to products, assets built worldwide and then sent to the city, that is scope 3. And in this study with Arup, we try to measure and quantify how much each of these scope accounted for the city and what solution could be adopted to improve. Among the city considered, there was Milan. It was one of the four cities, together with Genoa, Glasgow, and Bogota in Colombia. And we saw that much of the emission are related to the scope 3, so the worldwide emission related to the city supply. But the scope 3 are also the more difficult.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, the audio is very disturbed. Would you mind to stop the video in order to free up a little bit of bandwidth for the audio?
Can project in case, or I do without slides?
No, with the slide, just the video. Solo interrompere il video così lasciamo un po' di spazio per l'audio.
Not sure, let me say. And in this way, we tried to address the key lever on which to act. And in the case of Milan, we saw that scope 3 accounts for around 73%. And we try to understand for each sector what are the key interventions. And for the built environment, we analyze the impact on action due to enhanced occupation, new materials, cycle material and efficiency, all the part of final consumption. That can strongly impact both on scope 1 and as well on scope 3, that means along the material value chain. The same for mobility, trying to understand both on scope 1 through micromobility, sharing, pooling, electrification, but as well in terms of scope 3 as city can also area on materials used for as well for the issue of energy that is forward related to levers like renewable energy, power purchase, and digitalization. Without getting in detail, the studies available just to show how this concept of circularity connect as well. I wanted also to highlight some of the initiative and action that Enel is doing. We are strongly engaged on throughout many of our services and business. This goes from renewable plants to smart meter, smart grid, connectivity. We launched the new services on health. Then there are a part of our services related to knowledge about cities, like city analytics, data, and the circular city report. And there are all the technology like electric vehicles, energy efficiency, and public lighting. And I wanted maybe to spend a few words on the knowledge related part. The audio is fine now, just to... About data, what we are working on is on one side, city analytics. That means rely on real-time big data monitoring to measure and project city dynamics to support all this can we apply to the mobility, all the mobility within the city, all the recurrent, let me say, flow of within during the day of people mobility, as well to the condition of traffic and streets. All these city analytics basically are support tools for institutions to take proper decision and intervention. Then we developed open data solutions that are based on open data, and we made it free and implemented for all Italian municipalities that implement on one side the 50-minute index and another one, the circular city index. That on these two I expand slide on. Minute index basically is the implementation of the vision of 15 minutes. So for each district in the city, we assess what's the distance between the citizen and the key services that he may need. So the distance from housing, health, food, schools, etc. And see what can be achieved throughout a 15-minute walk or what is out of reach. So this maybe is an innovative approach that is the real implementation of this concept and can be a useful tool for municipalities. Italian municipality, as I mentioned, and we see it as well as a tool for planning for the local and how city can evolve in this direction. The other open data tool, the Circular City Index, that is available online free, about measuring a set of indicators related to the city, like waste, mobility, digitization, try to provide an overall vision of city circularity and assess how the municipality is now performing and what could be the dimension on a topic when there is room to focus more and to improve. The last one is well, this is not an open data. This is a activity we do with cities. That is a real ad hoc assessment to measure the current status of circularity in all the dimensions and to develop with city action plan to improve. This is here. I am sorry for the audio that was not so well, but pretty much the idea is really to share how we are addressing the issue of city, starting from the overall view down to quantitative analysis, down to our services and product. And this is something that we are carrying out worldwide. So we are doing this in Europe, but as well South America, North America, and in the near future as well in other continents. Thank you.